All right, what's up, everyone? I'm doing a long drive, so I know there's a lot on my mind, so I'm going to go ahead and just start talking. I've seen this kind of video before, and, usually they appear on camera, but I'm going to save you the trouble of that because I am ugly as fuck, and, and not relevant to what we're going to be talking about. So, as you all know, before January 2021, basically everyone that you give your time to now, including myself, was irrelevant. Trades, Andrew Mo Money, myself, Lou versus Wall Street, Masked Investor, Cosmic Lightning Warrior. All of us had one thing in common in the beginning. We had YouTube channels. In my circumstance, I already had a channel because I had made Mazda videos during COVID, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware. By the way, if there's background noise, sorry, I am driving. And I'm not going to edit this. This is coming from no notes. This is just coming straight up from me. And, some concerns are going to be talked about, but I just want to reiterate what we just lived through. But anyways, 2021, we all basically saw our YouTube channels skyrocket, right? Because of what? AMC and GME. More so AMC. AMC had more of the popularity as far as YouTube went. And, the whole feud between AMC and GME started, where GME called AMC popcorn and all that good stuff. I'm sure a lot of you have been here since the beginning, but I know that probably more of you have came into the picture right around that big pop up to 70 that AMC had last year. Now, during this period of time, what I've seen on the internet is pretty extraordinary. And when I say extraordinary, I mean extraordinary in the fact that it basically was like a trials, right, for people. Because every one of these YouTubers had a choice. They could have either reported on truth, or they could have reported on hype, or, in other words, what's good for their YouTube channel. Because you got to understand, the world is moving to a place where there is actually a job that exists on this planet right this second that pays people to disseminate information regardless of that information being true or not, and there's no one around to verify if that information is correct, which is exactly what the issue has become. Now, first of all, am I still bullish on AMC and GME? Of course, but am I bullish on them right now? No. There is a reason for this. There is supply chain issues going on. We had the GME letter to GameStop sent by Ryan Cohen in 2020 when he expected that the GME or gaming industry sales would boom in 2023 if taking the right steps now. And we have supply chain issues. The global economy is in a state of deleveraging from all of the dog shit collateral that was accumulated between 2008 financial crisis and today. And then on top of this, we have a never easier mechanism that exists for people to get online, talk about anything they want, collect a paycheck on it, and not even be held accountable for what they say and if it was correct or not. That's my issue. Because 9 out of 10 people are going to pick the easy road. They're going to want to hype AMC over the truth because guess what? AMC hype garnishes more views than non-AMC hype videos. I am speaking from experience. Whenever I started going against AMC on the 4th of May 2021 because Adam Aaron decided to push back the shareholder meeting, basically said F you to all the apes who voted in February and wiped out their votes, that's what got me thinking that maybe the situation isn't exactly what we're all thinking it is. And then I looked even further into it, and you got to think, if you're an adult in this world, how often has everyone been right? And how often has everyone been right, especially under the guise of getting rich? Never. Never. And we can't expect it to happen now. Now, does that mean AMC's not going to run? Of course not. Does that mean GME's not going to run? Of course not. Does that mean you can't get rich off AMC and GME? Of course not. I still believe you firmly can, but the whole buy and hold mentality is exactly where they want you to be. The no options mentality is exactly where they want you to be. Because guess what, people? When I started this journey, AMC prices were right around where they are right now. Now, if you look at what's happened, and you look at the social media and what's been going on, where's Trade Trades? Where's Matt Kors? Where's all the people that got you into this, most likely? Where are they? Well, they're nowhere to be found, because guess what? They are burned out. They're burned out from talking about hype, disseminating hype, and without any evidence. They just have to keep going with the flow. There is no evidence to support some of these claims going on. But again, I'm not going to ever be able to convince anybody of that, because, people do think how they want to think. But I'm just trying to get you to understand, we have already been here before. But this time there's one difference. There's no YouTubers going around, other than the desperate ones, pumping AMC. Now, why is that? Well, we're right back where we started. So, although the incentive may still be there, you have to think about how much money these people have accumulated over the last year and a half, 2 years. It's ridiculous. Just me alone, for my minuscule amount of views that I get, full transparency, I get paid around $2,000 a month just for my amount of views. Most of them come from one video, and it's not AMC, it's my Mazda CX-5 video. I almost have 1 million views on it. That is the biggest contributor to my earnings from YouTube altogether. But am I here to survive off of YouTube? No, I have a real job, and that is what I put my effort toward every day. On top of that, I run the Discord, that's a side gig, and I like to trade with my own money using my Weevil account. Other than that, I do legal transcription for a living, and that's my core job. So whenever my views start going against me on YouTube, I don't have to chase a narrative and cling on to straws to stay relevant. But most of these other people do. They need your views, because your views, your time equals their paycheck. And when your views and your time equals their paycheck, it means not to them what they talk about. Because the more views for them equals the more money for them. And at the end of the day, that's what all this is about. Everyone wants money. But there's a right way to go about doing it. Now, as far as bag holding, now I understand that a lot of you may want to get out of AMC and you feel like you're stuck in AMC. That's completely shitty, and I feel for you. That's not a good thing, or not a good way to feel, especially when all of the people that you listen to get you into the situation have disappeared for whatever reason. Now, that in and of itself is further proof that they're not even aware of the overall timeline. AMC and GME, in my opinion, are going to come to fruition in 2023. We have a lot of big developments coming out. We have the Fed now, instant settlements coming through. It's going to be a lot easier to settle debts. And on top of that, GME is going to be ready. And we all know that AMC and GME have been tracking each other since basically this whole thing started. So I would imagine that they're going to try to sync that together to make it happen around the same time. Now, I said this earlier this year. 2022 will be the slaughter of the apes. Now, did I mean this in a derogatory way? Absolutely not. What I meant was those who don't get themselves out of this ape mentality are going to get slaughtered. And what I meant by that is those who don't start taking the time to get off of Reddit, get off of YouTube, and start learning, you are going to be in a bad spot. And that spot has started to show itself now. Most people are hurting. Most people chose to give their time away, pay a bunch of other people that don't, give a shit about the information they're giving out. And in exchange, you get hopium, misinformation, and really a disservice, because you're not learning what you can do to better your situation. And you can do something every day. There's this thing, and it's called options. Now, I know what you're saying. Options is risky. It's for gamblers. Not if you own shares. Hear me out. There's 2 levels of options that most people trade. Level 1 and level 2. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Most people skip level 1 altogether. Level 1 options is the defense side of the market and or premium side of the market. The level 2, or your long calls and long puts, is your offense side or risk side of the market. Now, if you're only ever playing one side of the market, being level 2 options, you can't win in the long run. It's not possible. Unless you are just one of the luckiest son of bitches on the planet, the chances are you will not survive. So how do you do it? You must incorporate level 1 options. And to incorporate level 1 options, you have to buy the underlying shares. Well, guess what? Majority of option traders don't want to do that. They don't want to buy the underlying shares because that costs cash out of pocket. They're usually impatient, and then they don't understand how it works on top of that because they just rushed into level 2. Well, with level 1, the beauty of this is that if you hold 50,000 shares of AMC, which I know a lot of you mofos out there are holding a shit ton of AMC, which this is good for you. Because guess what? Covered calls literally are designed to pay the shareholder just for being a shareholder. It's literally, you can buy and hold, but also earn revenue on your shares. And this is at literal minimal risk, and you don't even have to worry about the shares getting called away. So, what do I mean by this? Well, if you have, let's say, 50,000 shares of AMC, one contract is 100 shares. So you divide that up, you get 500 contracts. Well, if AMC runs, which it is, I anticipate, very soon, what you can do is when that IV skyrockets to those ridiculous high levels that you've seen, guess what you can do? You can then sell an option, not your shares, but just an option, deep out of the money with super high IV, probably get about 10 to 15 bucks a share for it, and this is going to be like the weekly expiration. If you multiply 500 by 10 to 15 bucks, that shit adds up, and it adds up on a weekly basis. Because guess what? If I sell my calls tomorrow, you know what you're basically doing? Whenever you sell your calls, using the shares that you have as collateral, all of a sudden, you're on the other side of the market that you've been getting your ass kicked by for the last year and a half. Everyone's been selling apes premium because everyone's been telling apes don't buy options or don't just buy and hold. That is a premium seller's dream. So if you could take these shares that you have in your possession and put them to work on a weekly basis with literally minimal risk and pay yourself back over time just for holding, wouldn't you do it? Because this is a very real possibility that even myself, I did not know this. Whenever I held AMC, like a fuck ton of AMC, if I would have known this, oh my God, bro, I'd still be an AMC balls deep all in because there would have been no reason to sell for a loss at all for most people. Me personally, I sold at the top, near 60, I believe 64 or so dollars is when I sold, because I just didn't see the price getting back to those levels, in the relevant near future. But I'm talking back in February of 2021, like back then. Like, I sold some for a loss, I kept half my position, but then ended up averaging down more. You didn't even have to do that. You could have just sold calls, and you would have made a fucking fortune. Now, the only way these calls get called away from you is if AMC goes above that price. So let's say you sell a call at $30 for AMC for $2 a contract. Well, if you have 500 contracts, that's basically a free $1,000 you can sell with ultimately no risk, because you know, and I know, there's probably 0% chance that AMC runs above $30 between now and the expiration. But the key thing to remember is you don't want to do this all the time. Like, right now is not the time to sell calls for AMC. Now's the time to buy cash secured puts, which is another level 1 option strategy. Cash secured puts, what you can do is you can put the money down for, let's say, the lowest strike price on AMC's chain, maybe $1, and then you're paying $100 per contract, right? Because $1 per contract, 100 shares in a contract, $100 per contract, or $100, yeah, per contract. So, that being said, you can put the money down. If the stock dips to that price, that strike price, $1, and it goes to 99 cents, guess what? You can exercise that cash secured put, and then you just average down at the low. And then if it goes up, you make money. You make premium. So you literally can't lose. If you're holding AMC already and you want to average down, you can go with the cash secured put strategy. If you're holding AMC and you want to pay yourself back for holding AMC, you can go the covered call route. Both strategies are some of the most profitable strategies in the market because of the premium, not the risk, the premium. All it is when you sell calls is you're the other person on the side of the trade that you're used to being on. You're used to being the one buying the calls, buying the shares. Well, now you're the one selling the calls, and if they expire worthless, guess what? You get to keep all the money, and you get to do it again the next day or the next week. You could theoretically sell an AMC call and buy it back in 5 minutes if you wanted to. You don't have to hold it until its expiration. If AMC goes down after you sell your covered calls, you fucking won. You can buy them back for cheaper. You collect the difference. If it shits itself and goes down 10-15%, holy fuck, you just made a nice money. You can start selling calls again. Pay yourself back slowly. But what you don't want to do, though, people, and you can think about me as you want. I know there's a lot of different opinions about me, but keep in mind, not one fucking person on this internet knows who I am. They don't know me. They don't know my intentions or my methods. All they have to go off of is my work. And if you go look at what I've looked into, what I've researched, what I've discussed, what I've talked about, what I've presented, what I've basically spent all my time doing the last 2 years, it's unmatched. No one else comes close. And am I saying that to be arrogant? No. I'm saying it because I'm surprised that no one else took the initiative to actually learn and try to figure out what the fuck was going on. All they wanted to do was hang out on Reddit and take things that were given to them from the top. Well, I hate to break it to you, but Wall Street is all over social media. They've infiltrated Reddit, they've infiltrated YouTube, they've infiltrated Twitter, and guess what? You see my sub count? There is no fucking way that I have this many subs. I'm not an idiot. I probably likely only have 5,000 to 6,000 real people on my channel. But the reason why they pumped out all of our channels full of bots is to induce Dunning-Kruger, is to inflate everyone's ego, give them all that fucking money that they want, and then to keep that money coming in, they got to keep up the hype. It's a perfect plan, perfect setup, and most people played with it to a T. Now, the reason I did not do it is because I like to lead from integrity. Now, again, you're probably thinking that's bullshit, but again, if you look at my work, you look at what I've done, you look at what I put my time into, I think that speaks for itself. Am I sitting on YouTube telling you MOAS is going to happen every 2 days? Fuck no. What am I doing on YouTube? I'm going through and I'm saying, all right, there's no way DRS is what they're saying. All right, there's no way Marco Metzler's fucking anything other than a fraud. Okay, there's no way Say Technologies is going to do anything. Okay, there's no way User of Intellect on Twitter knows anything about what the fuck he's talking about because he can't even figure out how to log why would you log a float? There's no reason to do that. That's what the fucking registrar is for. But again, I'm not here to start fights or anything, but where the fuck's Boss Blunts? Where the fuck's Trade Trades? Where the fuck's everyone who took all your time? Where are they? They're gone because guess what? They're sick of it. They're sick of chasing the hype, regurgitating the hype. They're probably, it's probably getting annoying to them because most of them probably don't even believe it. Because how could you? If you want to succeed, not just in markets, but in life, you got to take the initiative, man. Like, you have to. You fucking have to. I know you don't want to hear that, but this is not a gimme world. I know that the media and the political, narratives make it seem that way, but it's not. The world's changing right now. Changing from a very, very, very macro and global perspective. And, COVID was the catalyst in all this. And the things that we've been living through the last year and a half, you just lived through a time that really, it should be the greatest story ever told. If you got to live through this journey, you had the opportunity to learn. And that opportunity still exists today. If you spent your time wasting it the last year and a half, trusting these idiots on YouTube that didn't bother to look into anything, then hey, no hard feelings. Just start getting with it. There's still time left on the clock. There's still time to take the reins and control your situation. You don't have to rely on these YouTubers. You don't even have to rely on me. I'm the only one that's going to tell you shit like this because I don't need YouTube to survive. All of my subs could drop off tomorrow. I'd still be making videos going over the same shit. I'd still be debunking DRS. I'd still be debunking Marco Metzler. None of that stuff, by the way, has done anything for this quote-unquote movement. So hear me out. One final thought. I know I've been talking a lot. Shouldn't the fucking correct movement be, let's learn the markets and beat these fucks at their own game? Let's stop getting ourselves distracted by all this social media nonsense that's literally put there to distract us, and let's come together for real as people, not apes, but fucking people who are sick and tired of not knowing what's going on because we can't trust YouTubers, social media influencers, Twitter personalities, news anchors, political activists, lobbyists. We can't fucking trust anybody except ourselves and those who choose to lead by integrity in this space. So please find me more of those people, because if we can all come together and hash out the reality of not only the situation, but what's happened in the past, who's out to get us, why isn't this person proven this claim? How come this claim is being regurgitated across the internet and hasn't been verified by anybody? We need to look into this, because the longer we don't, more and more and more and more people are going to get fucked, and they're going to get converted to the hive mind, which is ignore reality, attack reality, deny reality, and keep doing what I'm told, because that is all people want to do, especially with DRS. How many posts on Reddit do you have to read through that say, first and foremost, DRS your shares, before they get into their normal post? That fucking shit's not normal. And 6 months ago, every ape under the sun would have called a red flag on that one. It's not normal. We don't give financial advice. We don't tell people what to do with their money. All we can do is help people learn markets, help people learn that there is bad actors out there that are taking advantage of you on a daily fucking basis. And again, I'm not here to try to convince you to pick me over them. You mean, you can think I'm a shill all you want. You know, it doesn't matter to me, because again, I know what I've done. I see what they've done. Their track record's out there for everyone to look at. My track record's out there for everyone to look at. And while it's easy to be a keyboard warrior online in the comments section, you're not accomplishing anything at all. So if you're reading a comment on YouTube and that's swaying any form of a decision that you have, you're already losing, because again, you're being influenced by someone or something that, number one, may not even be real. Number two, may be incentivized to be putting that negativity out there in the first place. Number three, they don't fucking give two shits, because they're not putting in the time to look into this stuff. They're putting in the time to write angry comments on YouTube, Twitter, and everything else. So the difference in all of this, and what I'm trying to say, between Shilly's vid